Imagine that right now, in your kitchen, there's a dangerous substance that you likely consume daily, believing it to be completely harmless. This poison, drop by drop, day after day, quietly damages two of the hardest working organs in your body. My name is Dr. Smile, and I'm a nephrologist. In my practice, I've observed the devastating effects of this toxin on patients' kidneys for many years. This is especially true for adults who seek help when the damage, unfortunately, has already progressed too far. Today, I intend to break the silence. I won't use complex medical jargon that few understand. We'll talk frankly, as if you were sitting right in front of me in my office. I'll reveal to you exactly what poison is poisoning your kidneys without your knowledge. The most alarming thing is that you probably already ingested it this morning. Thank you for taking a few minutes to discuss our most precious asset, our health. As a kidney specialist, my job is not only to treat, but also to prevent disease. Believe me, one of the hardest parts of my job is seeing wonderful, vibrant people suffering from avoidable kidney damage. The problem is, these organs are masters of silence. They could be called the body's unsung heroes. Imagine the world's most sophisticated water purification system working inside you 24/7, non-stop. That's your kidneys. They filter all your blood, removing toxins, waste, and excess fluid. But their role is much more than that. They regulate blood pressure, help produce red blood cells to prevent anemia, and maintain bone strength. The kidneys are the foundation upon which the rest of your body functions. So what happens when this system starts to fail? No alarm sounds. There's no sharp pain to warn you. Chronic kidney disease is like a thief. It creeps up slowly, over years, and by the time obvious symptoms arise, swollen ankles, persistent fatigue, or cramps, the damage can be severe, sometimes irreversible. I've seen countless elderly people come to me, frightened and confused, faced with the need for dialysis or a transplant. And the same question always hangs in the air. Doctor, how come I didn't notice this? The answer is painful. No one warned them clearly enough about the everyday poisons that were eroding their health. That's why I'm here, because information is power. And today, I want to pass that power on to you. We'll expose several hidden enemies. I've compiled a list, starting from the most common and ending with what I consider the worst of all. What you learn today has the potential to literally change the course of your life. Before we get to the list, it's important to understand why we become more vulnerable as we age. Age changes the rules of the game. Just as our eyesight deteriorates or our hair turns gray, our kidneys age too. Their filtering capacity, which doctors call the glomerular filtration rate, gradually declines with each passing decade. Imagine a car engine with a lot of miles on it. It still runs, but it no longer has the power it did in its youth. Now imagine that instead of high-quality oil, we fill this old engine with low-grade fuel and force it to climb steep hills every day. What do you think will happen? That's right, it will fail much earlier than expected. That's exactly what many of us do to our kidneys without even realizing it. Over the course of 50, 60, or 70 years, we expose them to factors that didn't seem harmful in our youth, but they leave behind tiny scars. This damage accumulates. This cumulative effect can lead to kidney failure. Furthermore, the risk of hypertension and type 2 diabetes increases with age. I want to emphasize, these two conditions are the leading causes of chronic kidney disease worldwide. They're like two hammers constantly pounding the fragile structure of your filters. Therefore, anything that contributes to the development or exacerbation of diabetes and hypertension is a direct attack on kidney health. Today, we'll name these aggressors. For clarity, I prepared a list of 4 such poisons. We'll start with the one you can't eat or drink, but it's no less harmful. Then we'll move on until we reach number 1, undoubtedly the most dangerous, addictive, and widespread substance. It's a veritable wolf in sheep's clothing. Poison number 4 is a sedentary lifestyle. This is stagnant water that suffocates your kidneys. The first item on our list may surprise you, as it's not a food item. It's something you don't do. I'm talking about a sedentary lifestyle, lack of exercise, long hours spent in front of the TV or computer screen. You may ask, Doctor, what's the connection between sitting in a chair and my kidneys? The answer is simple, direct. Your kidneys depend on strong, healthy blood flow. Imagine a full flowing river. The water flows quickly, carries away all impurities, and stays clean. Now think of a puddle of stagnant water. Dirt accumulates, everything rots, and the water becomes toxic. Your circulatory system is that river. When you move or walk, your heart beats faster, blood actively circulates throughout your body, and with force reaches the millions of filters in your kidneys. This flow gives them energy for optimal cleansing. But when you sit for hours, everything slows down. Blood flow becomes sluggish, like water in a puddle. This opens the door to the kidney's worst enemies: obesity, hypertension, and type 2 diabetes. Without movement, the body stops properly absorbing blood sugar, which leads to insulin resistance and, over time, diabetes. Inactivity also contributes to weight gain, which makes the heart work twice as hard and raises blood pressure. Every extra kilo is an additional burden on your kidneys. The solution is movement. Don't panic. You don't have to become an Olympic athlete tomorrow. The solution is much simpler and available to everyone. Break up long periods of sitting. If you spend a lot of time sitting, the first step is simply to stand up. Set an alarm on your phone to remind you to get up every hour. Get up, walk around the house, drink a glass of water, stretch. This simple action already activates blood circulation. The next step is daily walks. It doesn't have to be a marathon. Start with 10 minutes around the block. Next week, increase to 15 minutes. The key to success here is consistency, not intensity. Walking is one of the best exercises. It's good for the heart, helps control blood sugar, strengthens bones, and, of course, ensures healthy blood flow to the kidneys. If you have mobility issues, there are excellent exercises you can do while sitting in a chair. Move your arms, lift your legs, rotate your feet. Any movement counts. The main principle is any movement is better than no movement. Remember the river analogy. Every step you take is a wave of clean water for your kidneys. Poison number 3, deceptively harmless painkillers. We've come to point 3. This enemy hides in plain sight in almost every medicine cabinet. It's the same pill you take without thinking when you have a headache, back pain, or arthritis. I'm talking about non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, known as NSAIDs. Names like ibuprofen, naproxen, and diclofenac are familiar to everyone. Millions of people use them, believing that because they're available over the counter, they're perfectly safe. And therein lies the great deception. Although they effectively relieve pain, their frequent or chronic use, as well as use in high doses, can be fatal to the kidneys, especially in the elderly. Let me explain how they work in simple terms. To ensure the kidneys receive sufficient blood volume, the body contains substances called prostaglandins. These keep the small renal arteries open. The problem is that NSAIDs work by blocking these very prostaglandins to relieve body pain. But the drugs don't target their target. They also block the substances that protect your kidneys. As a result, the kidney arteries narrow, close, and the flow of blood and oxygen is dramatically reduced. It's like stepping on a hose while watering a plant. The water stops flowing, and the plant begins to wither. The same thing happens to the kidneys, but the real danger is the hidden nature of the damage. Taking these pills daily for chronic pain, such as arthritis, is like stepping on that hose and letting go every day. Over time, the filters become damaged, scarred, and stop functioning. It's a slow process that doesn't show symptoms until it's too late. So what should we do? Just endure the pain? Of course not. Quality of life is crucial. The solution is to act wisely and consult a professional. First, never self-medicate for long periods with NSAIDs. If the pain persists for more than a few days, don't pop pills. See a doctor to find the cause. It's important not just to silence the siren, but to understand where the fire is burning. Second, be honest with your doctor. Tell them everything you're taking, including vitamins, herbs, and over-the-counter medications. Many cold or sleep medications contain hidden NSAIDs. Third, there are alternatives for relieving occasional pain. Paracetamol is generally safer for the kidneys when taken at the correct dosage. It's also worth exploring non-drug treatments, physical therapy, heat or cold therapy, and stretching. This can significantly reduce your dependence on painkillers. The golden rule is this: NSAIDs are powerful medications. Occasional use is acceptable, but daily dependence on them without medical supervision is like gambling with your kidneys. Poison number 2 is salt, the invisible enemy on your plate. We move on to the second point, and this is perhaps the most underrated adversary. It's present in kitchens all over the world. It's salt, or more precisely, sodium. Many people tell me, "But doctor, I hardly ever use a salt shaker." And therein lies the main misconception. The problem isn't the salt you add yourself, but the massive amounts of sodium hidden in processed foods. It's estimated that over 75% of the sodium we consume comes from there, not from the salt shaker. It's found in bread, deli meats, cheeses, canned soups, sauces, frozen dinners. Almost everything sold in a package. Industry uses it to make foods last longer and have a more pronounced flavor. It's an invisible invader. So why is it so harmful? Your body needs a small amount of sodium to function, but when we overload it, the balance gets disrupted. To dilute the excess sodium, the body retains fluid. This causes thirst and signals the kidneys not to excrete any water. As a result, the volume of blood in your arteries increases and the pressure inside them rises sharply. This is hypertension. Hypertension is the second leading cause of kidney failure. The filters in your kidneys are a network of tiny, delicate vessels. Imagine trying to clean silk with a fire hose at full blast. You'll destroy it. This is exactly what hypertension does to your kidneys day after day. It damages them, causes scarring, and destroys them in a vicious cycle. To protect yourself, you need to become a label-reading detective. This requires a shift in mindset. It's not about eating bland food, but about eating mindfully. The most powerful tool in your hands is studying the nutrition labels. Turn the packaging over and look for the word sodium. You'll be shocked to learn how much is contained in foods that don't even seem salty, like some breakfast cereals and cookies. It's recommended not to exceed 2,300 milligrams per day. If you already have high blood pressure, aim for 1,500 milligrams. A second strategy is to cook more often at home, where you have complete control over the ingredients. Third, discover new flavors. Nature has given us a rich arsenal of herbs and spices: garlic, onion, pepper, oregano, rosemary, turmeric, cumin, paprika. Lemon juice and vinegar also add great flavor without adding a gram of sodium. And one more trick: if you buy canned vegetables, rinse them thoroughly under the tap. This simple step removes a significant portion of the added salt. After a few weeks, your taste buds will recalibrate, and you'll begin to appreciate the true flavors of foods. This gives you a sense of freedom. The most dangerous poison is sugar and refined flour, a sweet and deadly duo. We've reached the end. We've discussed inactivity, painkillers, and salt, all formidable enemies. But now I'll introduce you to what I consider the number one poison. It's the undisputed champion of hidden destruction. It's the most addictive, the most ubiquitous in our diet, and the most devastating. This toxin is no rare chemical. We associate it with holidays, awards, and expressions of love. I'm talking about sugar and its inseparable companion, refined flour. Yes, you heard that right. That white sugary powder, desserts, sugary sodas, as well as white bread, pasta, and cookies. In my experience, this duo is the main reason why diabetes is the leading cause of kidney failure worldwide. It's a path I constantly observe in my practice until patients end up on dialysis. Why am I so categorical? Because sugar and white flour products, which the body converts into sugar almost instantly, don't attack from a single direction. They wage a massive, coordinated attack on several fronts. The first front is the direct path to diabetes. Excessive consumption of sugars and flour products is the main culprit in type 2 diabetes. When you eat these foods, a veritable tsunami of glucose is released into the blood. The pancreas works itself to the limit, releasing insulin to control the situation. If this happens daily, the cells stop responding to insulin, and sugar remains in the blood. This is how the disease begins. When sugar levels are chronically high, kidney damage becomes severe. Sugar literally caramelizes the kidney filters, hardening them and destroying them. This is called diabetic nephropathy, a fast track to an artificial kidney machine. The second front is hypertension. It used to be thought that salt was the only culprit, but today we know that sugar affects blood pressure just as much or even worse. A diet high in sugar increases blood pressure, so even if you control salt, sugar will continue to damage your kidneys. The third front is hidden inflammation. Sugar is like fire in your body. It causes chronic, low-grade inflammation that damages the lining of all arteries, including your renal arteries. The fourth front is obesity and fatty liver disease. Excess sugar that you don't use turns into fat. This fat accumulates, causing obesity, another risk factor for kidney disease. Fat also accumulates in the liver, which disrupts your entire metabolism and damages your excretory system. As you can see, it's an all-out attack. The good news is that this enemy can be defeated. The key is knowledge. First, understand that sugar has many names. High fructose corn syrup, dextrose, sucrose, maltose. They're all masks for the same poison. Second, eliminate the most obvious sources. Sweetened drinks, sodas, processed juices, and iced teas are liquid sugar. A single can contain over 10 teaspoons of sugar. Replace them with water, sparkling water with lemon, or herbal infusions. This is perhaps the most powerful change you can make. Third, be wary of low-fat products. Often, they remove the fat, but add sugar to preserve the flavor. Choose natural options, plain yogurt instead of fruit yogurt, adding fresh berries yourself. Fourth, replace white flour with whole grains. Real whole grain bread, brown rice, and oatmeal contain fiber, which slows the absorption of sugar. Finally, choose whole foods. Fruits, vegetables, legumes, meat, fish, eggs, nuts. When your diet is based on real foods, sugar and refined flour disappear. Breaking the chains of sugar addiction is the most powerful act of protecting your kidneys. We come a long way. Today, we exposed 4 silent poisons that threaten your health. The fourth is a sedentary lifestyle, which slows blood circulation. The third is pain-relieving NSAIDs, which can suffocate your kidneys. The second is hidden salt, which dramatically increases blood pressure. The first is sugar and white flour, which wreak havoc on the body. You may be feeling a little anxious right now, but my goal is not to scare you, but to give you tools for action. The truth, even if it's bitter, is the only thing that allows us to make the right decisions. Kidney disease doesn't have to be your destiny. Each of these factors is within your control. You decide whether to get out of your chair. You decide whether to see a doctor. You decide whether to read the label. You choose water over soda. You don't have to change everything overnight. Just take one small step today and another tomorrow. Every small change is a victory. Every meal cooked at home. Every walk is another brick in the wall of your kidney's defenses. You have the power to change your health story. Share this knowledge with your loved ones, children, partner, friends. Life-saving information must be shared. Remember, your kidneys are working tirelessly for you every second. Reciprocate by making informed decisions. I, Dr. Smile, sincerely wish you a long, healthy, and energetic life. Take care of your kidneys. Take care of your life. See you in the next video.